Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm just going to run through a couple of things about when you're planning a motorcycle trip, and especially an international one. There's a lot of things that are out of your control, and just not to overcomplicate things and not to try to stick too closely to a schedule, because things change and you just gotta go with it rather than trying to do something for the sake of doing it. So in less than a week's time I'm supposed to be in Morocco. At the moment my bike is being shipped from Ireland to Faro, where I will ride it down to port in Spain and get the ferry over to Morocco. When I booked the trip originally, obviously we had a COVID situation, but the vaccines were beginning to get rolled out, so I made an assumption that worst case scenario Europe would start to open up even if Africa didn't. So Africa has opened up. It opened up earlier on in the summer, at least Morocco has, and Europe has opened for anybody with a vaccine. So that's all good. There's a different problem which I didn't anticipate, and that is that Spain and Morocco are having a dispute on their borders, and they have closed all sea crossings and land borders between Morocco and Spain. So I can't get to Morocco. There's still a couple of days to go and things could change, but at the moment my trip to Morocco is quickly turning into a trans-Euro trail trip to Spain and Portugal, which isn't a bad alternative. I mean, it's a first world problem really. There's people an awful lot worse off than this in the world, so Morocco will simply just be put off till 2022 rather than being my 2021 trip. When I'm on a trip, I don't tend to book things, so for my Morocco trip I didn't have to cancel anything because there was nothing booked. I was simply going to get there on the Saturday and see how I got on. Now I'm going to do more or less the same thing for my trip, which is now turning into a Spain and Portugal trip. What I might do is, because I'm arriving on a Saturday and accommodation can be trickier on a Saturday evening, is when I see what the border situation in Portugal and Spain is, if I get through quite quickly, I'll book something on an app like booking.com or something, and that way I don't have to worry too much about getting to the town in Spain or whatever and having to find accommodation on a Saturday evening. Traveling on your own as a solo rider gives you an awful lot of freedom. You don't need to consult with anybody. If something doesn't work out, there's no big dispute about where to go next or anything. You just figure it out and you go with it. It's huge advantages to solo riding and solo adventure riding. So I definitely recommend it. And there's huge advantages to having company at times as well, but it can definitely lead to disputes and stuff when things don't work out and you need to make alternative arrangements, and you've been riding all day and everybody's a bit cranky. On your own, you can compromise a lot more and it can be just easier at times. So my desert trip in Morocco is turning into possibly a desert trip in Spain. There is actually a desert in Spain. It's the only desert in Europe. So it's about 6 hours on the other side of the Portuguese border. So that looks like a good place to start my trip and work my way down across the Spanish Trans-European Trail and into Portugal. And so I break up maybe 4 or 5 days in Spain, 4 or 5 days in Portugal. And yeah, just look, it's about getting there, being on the bike and the journey rather than the destination. So keep your trips flexible and you won't be disappointed. There's always going to be some obstacle in your way. Okay guys, thank you for watching. If you've seen my previous videos, you will notice I've done a little bit of housekeeping on the on my bike shed. It was a little chaotic there for a while I was getting ready for my trip, because I was taking a lot of things on and off the bike, just trying different bags and different positions and things. So yeah, got to do a bit of housekeeping, so that's always good. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.